My name is Jerry Evans. I'm running for Justice of the Peace, District 13 of the Quorum Court here in Russellville. It's part in Russellville and part in the county. Sure, I came to Russellville in 1976 to go to Arkansas Tech, where I met my wife. I'm not a lifelong resident, but I'm pretty close. I've been here more of my life than I have anywhere else. I grew up in a small town in northern Arkansas, north central Arkansas. My dad was the mayor of this small town, and that's kind of where I learned how to, what the advantages of giving back to the community and what you can actually help people do and get things done. And some of the projects that my dad actually worked on for years ago are actually they're still using those as for a water project and things. And basically that's kind of why I got into public service. I was on the fire department at that time. I'm also on the fire department here in Russellville on Crow Mountain. I'm also on the Pope County Office of Emergency Management, been there 22 years. I'm also I was on the EMS Rescue for 10 years. And basically that was a direct impact. Someone would get hurt or something, we would have to go out and look for them, or, had a car wreck or something like that. I've also been able to do a lot of things around here locally and also around the state to help other agencies. Now I've been doing it for so long that basically I'm always looking for ways to help the community, and I think with the experience and background I've got in emergency services, I think would really be able to do some good there on the Quorum Court. I was actually on the Quorum Court for 4 years, and I just decided it was time for me to get back on there and do some things and help with some of these grants that we're getting and some of the other things that can help so the taxpayers don't have to pay the money that they want to. It's taxpayers' money, of course, but the money that comes in from Washington and different places, it's where we could actually use it here in Pope County rather than it going to another state. One of the big things that I can see that right now is we've got we need to work together on all this, because you can't get anything done by yourself. We need to be working with our agencies, our elected officials, and right now I just don't see a lot of that. I see a lot of them working against each other, where my opponent has done that, and I really want to see us get together, and I've already worked with these agencies, our sheriff's department, our elected county officials down the courthouse, and get together and hopefully make this better place for us to live. This is Crow Mountain, correct? Crow Mountain. I'm on Crow Mountain Fire Department. After the first of the year, our rating went up, and basically. It costs people quite a bit of money. I'm one of those people because I live in that area. And instead of sitting back and complaining about it, I decided to join the Crow Mountain Fire Department and start making it better. We had 5 members. We now have 44 members and growing. We're working on getting our equipment updated. We're working on doing our training, which we've just trained. And we've got a really, really good dedicated bunch, and I'm telling you, those guys are all volunteers. 99% of the stuff that I've done has been all volunteer work, which is away from my family. In the middle of the night, you got to get up, and then you're sitting down at a meal or you're sitting at a restaurant, and I've had to leave, at different times and go do things, and everyone that's a volunteer does that kind of thing. They're just dedicated. We got some really good, dedicated people in this area that do that, and of course across the country too. But those are the ISO rating is what we're working on right now to get lowered. If we can hopefully get it lowered where that some of these companies will come in and say, hey, you guys have done a great job, your ISO rating's down, we can go ahead and lower the insurance rates, which will lower the insurance premiums. And that's one of the things I really, really am going to work on too. And if I can give any help from the Quorum Court to the department, I would surely do that, or any department for that matter. But those are things that it's going to take a little bit of time, and hopefully, maybe next spring, next year, we'll see that ISO rating or the ratings come down to where that we can actually do get those insurance rates down where people will save some money.
Well, as you and I were talking just a while ago, I've spent some time in the news and entertainment business. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, grew up in Memphis, and then moved to Nashville or Murfreesboro. Went to school and worked in the Nashville entertainment business for about 20 years. with a company called Gaylord. And then we moved here about 8 years ago, I guess now. My wife's family's from Dardanelle, and we've got 2 kids, so I had to bring the grandkids where they'd know their grandma and grandpa and mama would know the grandkids. So we've been here about 8 years now. When we moved here, I opened a business over on Bradley Cove called Ivy's Cove RV Retreat. It's an RV park, so we've been open, I guess, about this is our 6th or 7th year now. But it's done. We've been very blessed. It's done pretty well. And then my wife is a nurse practitioner, works for Dr. Andy Henry in Little Rock Cardiology here in Russellville. They have a full-time clinic here. Have 2 kids, William, who's 11, and Rachel, who's 8. I think in my area of the district that's outside of the city limits, that's probably the #1 concern. I know. I thought it was interesting in the paper when I read several of the candidates talking about when they wanted to get roads improved in their area. I think we're all concerned about roads, but the reality is that the county judge takes care of the roads. I mean, that's his responsibility. He's in control of the road department. So yeah, roads are an issue, but you know, the judge does a great job. He does a very efficient job of taking care of them, and if there's a request, he's very good about following up on it. So in the immediate area around us, which I say would be Cove Landing, Richland Hills, and the area up on the south side of Crow Mountain, down around Sparksford, anything that's outside the city limits, it'd be fire protection at this point, because we're served by the Crow Mountain Fire District, and they're currently a Class 9, and so there's you know, insurance, the ISO and the insurance companies are doing a lot of reevaluating. You know, people are concerned. Their insurance rates are going up. I've had one lady say that hers went from $400 to over $2,000 because they were classified at a class rating that was not accurate. We're a Class 9, which if you start looking at ISO ratings, that's basically you have a truck in a building and there's no guaranteed fire service. And so the concern is you know, people's insurance rates. And that's my primary concern. As I said, I went and talked to Mr. Standridge about it. You know, there are changes being made. I don't know. I'm not involved in the department, so I don't know exactly what changes are being made. But hopefully, they're ones that are going to, you know, make our fire coverage better. But that's probably the primary concern right now for the people in that part of the district. So there are a lot of things that I'm proud of. A lot of things I would like to have seen done that haven't gotten done. We're gonna have to really start looking as a county at our budgets. I mean, revenues are down, sales tax revenues down. I mean, we're all dealing with that, and so you know, I treat the county's money just like it is mine, and I don't like to waste mine because it's awful hard to come by. And the same is true in the county. You know, it's getting harder and harder to come by revenues and money in the county. So I'm going to take as good a care of it as I would mine. That's my philosophy when I go in there and sit behind that desk. So when you ask me the differences, I'm a fiscal conservative and I've proven it. And if you want to know how I've proven it, go back and look at my voting record. I mean, it speaks for itself. You know, you can go find out what I voted for, what I voted against. And I think you'll find a pretty consistent, matter of fact, I know you'll find a very consistent track record of where I stand on issues.